Hey guys, J77 here doing another What's News topics. Got a couple of stories I want to touch on, but I want to get this one out the way real quick. It's having to do with stop and frisk. Pretty much, if those who have had followed this, it was a big thing in New York. There is a actual uh, ruling on the Federal Appeals Court, and to no surprise here, the case is going to turn to the lower courts. The Federal Appeals Court returned legislation over to the New York Police Department stop and frisk policies to the lower courts Friday for a potential settlement between the Civil Liberty Union and the city. The second U.S. Circuit Court appeals also refused to let the police union replace the city to continue the appeal over the judge, finding that the police sometimes discriminate against minorities with the crime reduction tactic. Um, this is no surprise to no one, and the reason why it's no surprise to no one, and this is probably why you didn't hear too much about it, is the mayor already came out, de Blasio already came out saying that the city would not challenge it. They will pretty much drop the challenge of the original um, hearing. This is going to be something that was very big. The court said they wanted to appoint a monitor to overstep and other steps in order to rewrite stop and frisk policies with the new mayor de Blasio, saying the city wanted to ensure that discrimination is not a factor when it comes to the situation. Now, I want to make this very clear here. The stop and frisk has not been abolished in this city. It just said that most of the stuff is considered unconstitutional, and this is why the city must have an independent monitor to actually oversee to make sure that no violations of people's rights is being done while the police is doing their job. Um, the ex-commissioner Kelly and Bloomberg, of course, rejected this. They was wanted to fight it, saying that it stops them from doing their job. They actually even said that the crime could go up because of this, which is completely bogus anyway. But this mayor, who is different from Bloomberg, saying that they don't want they don't want to fight this. In fact, they want to work on it to reduce the stop and frisk and make sure that they're going to use it going to use for the right reason. Now, Christopher Dunn, who has been um, involved in this situation and is a very strong voice in the Civil Liberty Union, said that they hope that this is the first step to move forward into reforming stop and frisk policies and making sure that no one's rights is threatened just based on suspicion. I will leave a link below to this. It's very important to read, especially for those states or cities who have similar laws that affects other people across the board. So this is something very important to know, very important to keep informed because, as you all know, when a city does one thing, other places normally follow. And this was a very serious situation that was going on for years. It's not just something that's been coming out of blue. This was going on for years and has gotten worse and worse because they basically just really overstepped their bound. And with the mayor's administration, it went even beyond stop and frisk. They were taking people's DNA, even though they wasn't arrested or charged with a felony. They was actually going to other cities, other states to spy on people. It was really the city just going amok, feeling they have to enforce either other states' law enforcement, which was just really, really insane, really, really maddening. So hopefully this will finally tame down, and from what I'm seeing so far, they are making some progress. They still got a long way to go, but this is the step to the right direction and making sure that no one's rights are being trampled on in the name of what they claim is safety. All right, moving on to the other story. I'm gonna stay with New York a little bit because I want to get this one out the way as well. There is a new campaign. And I say campaign for a reason that the NYPD will begin to kick out homeless seeking shelters in the subways. And this has become a main issue for a lot of reasons. One, um, ever since the Bloomberg administration, I'm putting that on him for a reason because he didn't make anything better. He made a lot of things worse, and since then, um, from his administration all the way down, homeless rate has tripled. It is very, very bad, and it's gotten to the point now where you're starting to see it more and more in the city, outside and even in the subways, and we're seeing it in such a way that that it's starting to get on people. It's going to get on people a lot more because one, the older, two, a lot of them are very unstable and can actually attack people, because of that. And three is just they take up a whole lot of space, and that's basically what it is. And it's like a very, very situation. It's a very dangerous situation both for the strap hangers and for the homeless situation because they are really seeking shelters to the point where they're actually going underneath the subway station themselves. So starting Monday, which is pretty much tomorrow, the team of transit workers will start going into the subway lines, taking people off the subway station, heading to shelters, and clean up that subway station, subway carts for the morning rush. That's their plan, is to make sure they seek shelters, make sure they go to these shelters rather than the subway lines and the terminals itself. Now, the reason why I say what I said in the beginning, because it's not the first time the MTA and the NYPD have planned this. And needless to say, it didn't go very well. Um, this is actually happened. A woman seeking shelter in the bus terminal was kicked out. That woman died because she froze to death. That woman, nobody didn't know who she was, but it was enough to spark outrage. This later on formed the Dole Foundation, and the Dole Foundation still exists. Pretty much operates as a privately run shelter to help people who are homeless, those who've been released from prison to get their lives back together. And it's pretty much a working shelter where you work in the shelter and basically try and get your life back. And it has done pretty much well for the most part on doing what they're doing. But that was largely because someone was seeking shelter in an NTA-owned building. It was a bus terminal. They kicked her out. As a result, the death happened. And I'm hoping that the NTA learned from that mistake because if they just, it's one thing if you're just taking them to into a shelter where they can seek refuge. It's another thing if you just kick them out completely, and that's something they got to be mindful of when they're doing this. You don't want to just kick them out because one, if you kick them out on the street, they're gonna come right back in. That's one, and two, you run the risk of them actually dying in the street where they may have actually still be alive if you just left them where they were. So there is that pro and con thing when dealing with the situation here. So I hope they understand it's not as simple as it is just taking people out of the shelter. But you gotta understand that there may not be room in the shelter to begin with. There ain't that many shelters in New York City. It hasn't been that for years. And the thing is that most of these shelters don't have the manpower or the resource to help the people that you bring in. And that's also the harsh reality of the situation that they're in. So you maybe put them in a worse situation than when they were when they was riding these train stations. So there's the pros and the cons. And look, there's no easy way into it. I'm not going to sit there and say MTA baby savages. I understand the concern. I understand that there is an issue. I understand it because I ride the trains all the time. I know how bad it is. Perfect example is you be going on the subway line, you be wondering why there's only one person there, nobody's in the train, you go into that car, next thing you know, it smells so bad, you have to leave the car. You don't care how bad, how crowded the other cars are. You just want to get out of that car. That's how bad it is because that one person, the smell is so putrid, it's actually sickening. You actually want to throw up. So I get it. I understand how unsanitary and how unsafe it is both for the passengers and for the person who's homeless because they are in a very situation where they're vulnerable. You'd be surprised. They get beat up, they get harassed, all because they're there. Right? So it is a safety issue. I'm gonna leave a link for you guys to read. It's very, very interesting to take a look at. Um, and you guys give me your opinion on the matter. I would like to hear what you have to say. You know, when I see something like this, when I see a bill, which is called 1061, I I cringe because it's very clear that the people who have made this bill have not learned nothing from the past. They should have been keeping an eye on Kansas and Arizona. This is pretty much the Arizona. Republican-controlled state Senate voted along party lines Wednesday to pass Senate Bill 1062, a measure that would allow business to reject services to any customer based on the owner's religious beliefs. The excessive of religious mean that practices or abusive or abusive of religion includes the ability to act of or refuse to act in a manner substantially motivated by religious beliefs, whether or not the action is compensatory to central to a larger system of religious beliefs. This doesn't make any sense. The article pretty much says, and this is something that the opponent said, that basically what this article does is it allows companies to not only reject people who are gay, which is basically what this is all about, but also people of race and other religion as well. I'm just going to say this. I'll leave a link to it because it's very, very sad how we have come to this. And I hope this was get challenged in the Supreme Court and strike down the Supreme Court because there's no way you can make a bill like this. Right? Um, it's just really crazy. I really can't believe they actually did this. And somebody says here, this is what one of the says here that who funded this legislative many Arizonans will find themselves members of a separate and unequal class under this law because of the sexual orientation. This bill may also open the door for discriminate based on race, familiar statute, religious, sex, natural origin, age, and disability. As testament to the Bill Mission, state senator who actually thought this was a good idea, cited in 2013 Mexico Supreme Court ruling that banned wedding photographers from refusing to shoot same-sex ceremonies, according to the Associated Press. This bill is not about allowing discrimination. It is discrimination. It's not a question about, I don't even know how you can say it with a straight face. He said this bill is about preventing discrimination against people who are clearly living out their faith. No, it's not. This is something it bothers me a lot when I hear these clowns who say this. Your faith is not being put in jeopardy. Right? I'm not going to your house and telling you should believe in my Buddhist faith. Nor do anybody else that's coming out there. It is the opposite if anything. Because you are trying to force an idea on people. Whether they believe it or not, that's what you're doing. Okay? And you're willing to discriminate against people just to make you feel good. And I got news for you. If this gets passed and this stays in the law and this gets worse, I don't want to hear from Christian leaders. I really don't. I don't want to hear that you guys are for peace and love and and your God is caring because your actions tell me differently. This is a very dangerous bill. It's a very dangerous bill. And you guys are willing to discriminate against people just for the sake of your own faith. I keep hearing every time, oh, our religion is being attacked, our religion is being attacked. All I'm seeing the people doing attacking is the extremists, the Christian extremists who claims their God is loving and caring and kind. Well, this bill doesn't show it. If anything, it shows the opposite. It says here in this article that says that the bill, which is titled 1062, is heading to the Republican majority state house, which is expected to pass. And I hope after this gets passed, I hope the Supreme Court knocks it down. Because this cannot stand. You have made a segregation bill. That is no other way to put it. You are opening the doors and you're using religion as a way to justify this disgusting bill. And if you think that's not, that's what it is, you're fooling yourself. And this idea that your religious belief should include discriminating against people is ridiculous. Are you wondering why people don't have much faith in the church anymore? I'll leave a link below. You guys can check it out yourself. I'd like to hear your opinion on this. Alright. Which one should I do? Dumb criminal number 1? Dumb criminal number 2? I'll go with number 1 here. Curly Scott landlord allegedly steals her belongings 5 days after she goes missing. This is very, very sad. And for those who don't know, this girl has been missing for a while. She's been missing since February 10th. Latest report is that they have found a called torch along with some of her belongings, but they haven't found her, and it has been very devastating to the family. So you can imagine their frustration when some nutball landlord tries to steal her stuff. It says here in this article that Curly Scott family is outraged after the missing woman's landlord allegedly entered her Magu home and took her personal belongings. This is according to a report from Hawaii's News Now. Scott, who is 5 months pregnant, was reported missing on February 10th by her mother, Kimberlyn. 4 days later, Scott's family accompanied police who needed to collect DNA samples, evidence to the missing woman, Rental's home, where they say some of her items were missing, including a TV, a stove, and baby toys intended for a son. And it also says here that all the missing items, Scott's mom explained she was most upset about the toys where they're supposed to be given to her unborn grandson. The only reason I can assume he wanted them is because he thought they were valuable and they're handmade. This is what they're saying. In an interview in Hawaii's News Now, the landlord, which actually spoke, who asked to remain off camera, claimed that Scott owes him money for the rent and took her stuff in order to protect it. Doesn't even make any sense. That doesn't even make any sense. This article said the landlord also demanded $100 for the return of her daughter's belongings, which makes it even more worse situation. Apparently, he has settled for $350 as his amount, and told me the first time I met him that he would waive that if he would leave him the TV set. So he just wanted the stuff regardless. He wanted the stuff regardless, and that was it. What makes it even more disgusting here is that there is a code under Hawaii's law preventing landlords from entering a tenant's property without a judge ruling, and they have no authority to remove anything. The article says that the mother of the missing woman felt very ugly and is not right. I don't even want to see anyone go through this. It's unbelievable, ugly behavior. It is. There's no question. And that's why he didn't want his face on camera. The article also says that last week Scott's SUV was discovered, torch in a remote area, and her clothing and other items were found by a private search party nearby. Oh, jeez. As of February 19th, no suspect has been named in Scott's case. On Friday, Scott's family released a public statement thanking the Maui Police Department and local community, as well as discouraging the community from unfairly judging Scott's ex-boyfriend, Stephen, citing his full and continued cooperation. The man has been labeled person of interest since he was last seen with the woman. Now, I'll leave a link below. This is a very sad story. I hope and pray that both her and the baby are found. But the point is that it's even more even upsetting where you have a shady landlord who thought it was a good idea to take something that doesn't belong to him. Um, I'm a little surprised because they didn't say that obviously he wasn't arrested. Obviously they settled out of court, but the point is I would have took him to court because you had no business being in that room. And like I said, if there's a code already on there saying that they can't enter that building, especially when it comes to a missing person case, he has no right being in that building. He has no right to be in that room, especially when it comes to the items. And to me, I would take him to court. I wouldn't pay him a single dime. How dare you take that woman's stuff? How dare you even ask for the television set? Unbelievable. Greed sometimes brings out the worst in people. I tell you, it really does. It really, really does. I'll let you guys look at the link below. You guys can talk about it. Moving right along. This one's actually kind of funny. I'm really kind of funny because the guy is stupid. Maybe I should do another What's News episode of Dumb Crooks. This would definitely fall into it. But it says here that Carlos Ruzin allegedly stole the sound system and then came back for remote control. This article pretty much says a New Jersey man accused of stealing a sound system was arrested because the cops said he returned to the crime scene 30 minutes later to grab the remote. I guess he never heard of Universal Remote, but I'll just keep on going. Police has Hampton Township, New Jersey, arrested Carlos Ruzan, 42, on Thursday and charged him with burglary, theft, criminal mischief, streaming from February 4th incident. The surveillance camera captured the suspect pulling up to a home in an SUV at around 9 a.m. The police said he broke into the home, walked out with the sound system and other valuables less than 10 minutes later. This is something that the NewJersey.com is reporting. Riz left the crime scene only to return 30 minutes later to grab the remote to the sound system, police told thedailyjournal.com. And here's the funny thing is, this guy has a huge baggage on his back right now. It's not even just that. During a brief time in the house, Riz found time to feed the dog. At least he's a dog lover, I'll give him that. According to the police, Riz was committing the crimes to fuel his heroin addiction. This is what happens when you make addiction like that become your master. He is also this is something that's really he's gonna be facing a serious hard time right now. This is where here's the thing where it really kills me. Rosen also found to be a fugitive in a fraud case in Pennsylvania and is wanted by the Kenyon County Sheriff Department for failure to pay child support. I'm not even done yet. Rosen is currently being housed in the Community County Correctional Facility on $10,000 cash. Oh, I'm sorry, $100,000 cash bail. Don't even know why he got bail to begin with. And it pretty much ends with he's not the only alleged robber who suffered a memory lapse. The article continues to say on November of 2013, Drake's Cole left his cell phone on the kitchen counter. I actually like this one a little bit more than I like this one. He burglarized a Palm Beach County, Florida, a home in Palm Beach County, Florida. Police were able to track him down when his mom called while they was investigating. This will definitely make my list of dumb criminals. I tell you right now. Oh, another one. He actually put 3. I even almost missed this one. He said, and on February 13th, an accused wild thief Stephen Aaron Maxwell, 47, was arrested on Browns County, Florida, because he robbed a wallet, but left his wallet at the scene of the crime. Dumb criminals. I got 3 stories in one in this whole article. So you guys pick your pick here. But it's all the main story at hand. they do sell universal remotes. You guys know that, right? I mean, you don't really need to go back to the system unless you really was going to sell to defeat your drug addiction. And in that case, you need help, not a sound system. That's the bottom line. I'll leave you guys to judge for yourself in this article. I'm not going to take too much about it. I think the article itself speaks for itself. But yeah, sometimes sometimes criminals are not capable of being criminals, especially when it comes to that. I like to leave on a high note. This is a very nice story here, and I decided to make it the good news of the week. Sometimes I pick a weird news. Sometimes I pick a good news to end the segment, depending on the mood. Um, but this one is a very good news, and it involves a child who went through a lot. His name is Dylan. He's a 2-year-old child um, who suffers from a particular um, brain disorder. This kid, um, I mean, literally has gone through a lot in his short life. He's 2 years old. Um, this person, this child, this remarkable child, this brave child, had went through 15 brain surgeries in his life. This kid is 2 years old. He already had 15 brain surgeries, and it basically says that from what this is, it's a very big word. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but needless to say, his condition. Um, result of his condition, he gets excessive fluids accumulated in the brain, and that alone is very, very dangerous because it causes the skull to expand. And needless to say, if that's not taken care of, he can actually die from a lack of oxygen. At least that's what I have read. Now the thing is about this is that the fact he has 15 brain surgeries is beyond me. Now why is this a good news? Is because of what the family have done. Now they have adopted a dog. It's named Frank, and Frank also has pretty much the same dysfunction as the kid does. In fact, the dog had suffered um, numerous of strokes and was about to be in danger of being euthanized when the family heard about this and actually adopted the dog themselves. And ever since then, they put them together and they click just like that. There's actual pictures of them seeing the dog and this child together, and it's actually a tearjerker. In the article, it pretty much says it pretty much says it all. It says it was a toddler and a puppy, Lippin told the Huffington Post, and a whole lot of energy. It was an emotional moment. It's as just knowing that Frank was able to make Dawn laugh and smile. With the stuff he's going through, that alone is definitely a breath of fresh air. The article also states Frank, who's the owner, he did have a previous owner, was also the administrative assistant in the department of where the boy was being treated. According to the Richmond Time dispatcher, Minutes adopted Frank like August thanks to the Richmond Amateur League, the RAL. You can look them up online. They also have a link in the article. Organization had placed the puppy with foster families after he suffered a seizure at 8 weeks old, putting him at risk for euthanization. So that's what I'm trying to say. This is something that is very, very powerful story here. But it pretty much, once the family of the boy heard this, they basically contacted this family and they got them together, and you already know the rest. Now, the article does end like this. Frank is now in basic training, becoming a therapy dog. This told up in the Post. He has a small Facebook. They actually jammed both A and B together. Small Facebook following, but the family hopes he'll be able to help more children like Dylan. In the meantime, the two will continue to see each other as regularly as possible. Another dog that has the same condition as Dawn. It'll just be amazing to see how they'll grow up together with until the Huffington Post. Great story, and trust me, when you see the pictures, you'll be shedding teary eyes because that is definitely very, very deep. And again, I'll leave links to all of them. I will also hope you guys look for your comments, see what you guys have to say. Before I go into the Blue Younger here, I have to address one story that I did last week. It was involving an incident where a veteran, if I can see if I can find it here, a veteran was beaten by a group of teenagers on a Cleveland bus. Now, originally, when I read that story, it was under the assumption that the name I was reading was one of the individuals who attacked this veteran on the bus. Apparently, that was actually the veteran's name. So I want to get it out there immediately and let you guys know that was a mistake and an error on my part. I went a little too fast on the on the reading there. I didn't record it until I actually read and realized it was an error that was made on my part, no one else. But I wanted to get that correction out real quick before I forget. So I do apologize for that. Do apologize for messing up the name, especially for the individual there. That was my fault. But I wanted to let you know that was the veteran's name, not the people who attacked him. So a little bit of disclaimer there, a little bit of correction there. And with that being said, guys, as usual, comments below. Let me know what you think about the stories. Until then, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.